Hi, I'm Rachel Brown, the Education Manager at Faro Marine Life Center in Port Angeles. Today, we'll be doing a virtual squid dissection. These opalescent squids are the most common species seen in Port Angeles Harbor. During the months of July and August, large schools of opalescent squid can be seen after dark from City Pier. They are coming near shore to mate and lay their eggs. Today, we will be dissecting a food-grade opalescent squid that I purchased from a local grocery store. This squid was previously frozen and has no dyes or chemicals. The tools we will use for this dissection include forceps or tweezers, a dissection needle used to point out different body parts, and scissors to cut open our squid. We are going to start our dissection by reviewing the external or outside body parts of our squid. Starting at the top of our squid, this point is called the apex. As we move down the body of the squid, we can see there's two fins on either side. The whole upper body section of this squid is called the mantle. The lower foot section of this squid includes the two eyes, arms, and tentacles. The dark spots seen here on the back of the squid are called chromatophores, or color spots. The squid can show more or less of these spots. This causes the squid to appear darker or lighter, which helps it blend in to different environments. Next, we're going to flip the squid over and take a closer look at the bottom side. Take a look at how well defined the fins appear on this side of the squid. Give me a moment so we can zoom in and look at the photophores. The red spots seen here on the bottom side of the squid are called photophores, or light spots. These spots help the squid reflect more or less light depending on how close to the surface the squid is found. Under the mantle and resting between the two eyes of the squid is the siphon. The siphon has many different functions. It's how the squid pulls water into its body to flush over the gills, allowing it to breathe. It's where the ink comes out of when the squid is startled. It's also the jet propulsion, so as the squid pulls in water to flush over its gills, it also can forcefully push out that water, causing it to change directions very quickly. I'm going to reposition the squid so we can get a better view of all of the arms and tentacles. The squid has 8 short arms that it uses for feeding and movement. It also has 2 long tentacles that are used only for feeding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 arms. 1, 2 tentacles. Can you see those bumps covering the bottom side of all of the arms? Those bumps are the suction cups that the squid uses to hold on to its prey. The tentacles only have suction cups at the very tip, unlike the arms that have them the entire length. So I'm going to try to get a view. They're really tiny, so they're kind of hard to see. Do you see the subtle change in texture where my fingers are compared to where my pointer is? In the middle of all of the arms and tentacles is the squid beak. I'm going to pick up the squid with my fingers between the eyes, kind of spread out all of the arms. And there in the center you can see a small black spot. That's the tip of the beak. Let me move some skin around and hope you can see it a little bit better. You see that black spot? This is where our dissection begins. I am going to start by removing that beak to give us a better view. With my fingers still between the eyes of the squid, I'm going to use my forceps, spreading them carefully around the beak, including the whole skin section, all that muscle around it, and push straight down towards my fingers and pull straight up. I didn't quite get all of it, so I'm going to have to try it again. And there's the beak with all the muscle, called the buccal mass. Once I removed all of the muscle from around the beak, you can get a better look. Kind of looks similar to a parrot's beak. I'm going to move the squid so we can get a better look at the rest of the buccal mass. So you see that ball section in the forceps? That is the muscle that surrounds the beak. And the string draped over my finger is the esophagus, or throat. I'm going to reposition the squid and prepare to cut open the squid using the scissors. I'm going to be very careful to only cut the mantle, and I'm going to cut all the way up to the apex. Now that the mantle has been cut all the way to the apex, I'm going to use my fingers to carefully lay open the mantle so we can get a good look at all of the organs inside. I'm going to slowly zoom in so we can focus on the lower organs first. The first organ I want to point out is the ink sac. So that's that silver dark spot there in the center. Notice how it's pointed down and connects directly to the siphon. You can get a good idea of how the ink comes out of the siphon there. Next, we'll look at the gills. So along the side of the body, I'll have one gill, and it connects all the way up to the rest of the main organs. And on the other side of the organs, we'll have a second gill. So I'll carefully slide that gill out so we can see it a little bit better. Squids have 3 hearts, 2 gill hearts. There's one at the top of this gill, and a second at the top of the other gill, and right in the center we have a main heart. My favorite demonstration when looking at squids is to take a really close look at the gills. So I'm going to use my forceps to lift up this gill and my scissors to carefully cut the gill away from the mantle. And I'm going to cut all the way up towards that gill heart and disconnect the gill from the main body right below that heart. And slide the squid out of the way so I can have a clean backdrop to put the gill on. If I lay out this gill, it looks not like very much. Could even be confused for an arm or tentacle piece. And these gills are not designed to be used in air, and they get all stuck together. So I'm going to pick it up and carefully place it in the small container of water. Give it a little swirl. And once the gill's been in the water for a little bit and kind of stirred up, we can get a better look at what the gills actually look like when the squid's alive and in the water. So you can see how it expands, it fluffs up, kind of looks like a feather. You can see all the small separations of the gills. And the gills allow the squid to pull oxygen out of the water so it can breathe. Let me reposition our squid. So look at the organs once again. The next organ we are going to look at is at the apex. The organ here at the apex is the gonads. This is how we tell a male squid from a female squid. Since the gonads are white and very soft, I know that this is a male squid. If it was a female, the gonads would be clear to yellowish and very firm. We're going to slowly zoom out and take a look at our whole squid, as we have one body part left to look at. And it requires us to take all of the organs off the mantle, and they just peel right off. And this is the same process you would do if you were trying to clean a squid, if you were going to eat it. We're going to zoom in on this mantle. And when it's cleaned and cut open like this, it's sometimes called a cape. Right down the center of the mantle, I'm going to use my forceps to slide underneath. We are going to pull out what's called the pen. The pen is the second hard spot in a squid's body. It's what gives structure to the mantle, causing the squid to be that torpedo shape we're used to seeing. This looks a lot like plastic. It's very thin. It's so thin, it's transparent. The pen gets its name because it looks like a feather pen, and it is made out of a material called chitin, which is the same material a crab's shell is made of. I'm going to bring the squid back into view. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is a food grade squid that I got from the local grocery store. So if you were to eat squid, most of the time you eat the mantle, either cut into strips from the cape or as a full tube cut into rings. People also eat the arms and tentacles, frequently cut right below the eye. Thank you for joining me in our first virtual squid dissection. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something new about our local squids.